Tell me that you hear me.
Oh, dear God, yes, I can.
Oh man, thank God, hallelujah, and thank Saint John Chrysostom.
Okay, I mean, why him in particular?
Well, tomorrow is his feast day, and it is 10 years since my tonsure into readerhood.
Since you're what into readerhood?
Tonsure.
Your tonsure.
Tonsure. That is when they ordain you, but they don't want to say that you're ordained because it would imply too much power and responsibility. So they say they tonsured you.
So basically...
And it happens outside the altar. It happens outside of the altar.
So that's tomorrow. 10 years.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
Congrats, man.
Thanks,
You're
man.
You're like the reader, right? With all the power and responsibility.
Not much,
zero
yes.
power, basically.
As long as you know how to read, there's some, there's not a whole lot you can mess up.
Yeah, I know. I remember listening to you like once. You have this like flat tone, just like you have in your videos.
Yeah. Okay, but I think that people who listen to us, they will probably notice that I sound much more lively in the podcast than on my videos. Yeah. At least not all of videos, but on the main channel, because man, it is so difficult to read and to talk for some reason.
No, it's not. It's a matter of practice.
No. I mean reading out loud. I don't mind reading.
I know what you're talking about. Trust me, I know. Like every time I'm making videos for the business, it always has to be scripted. But then again, it has to sound like it's not. So it's just another skill, just like any other. So today's kind of a messy day. You and I never got the chance to record since like forever, and we got that one window of opportunity finally, and it was like when was it, like last week or something? And
no, it was like maybe 2 days ago.
Really? No, I think it was more. I don't know. Like time's messed up, but it.
Well, 4 days
that's better.
At most.
4 days makes much more sense. But the point is, the thing didn't work. We couldn't record. The thing that makes us thing that makes it possible for us to record, considering the lack of time and sleep and whatever.
Yeah. Dear audience, know full well that we did our best to record at earliest possible convenience. And when we finally got around, when none of us was sick, ill, traveling, or simply falling apart from tiredness, the audio equipment would not relay sound to M. For some reason, he couldn't hear me. I could hear him. He couldn't hear me. But when he played the audio, he could hear the both of us. That mystery is still unresolved.
It was messed up. We tried like 5 or 6 times. I'm not even sure at this point, but it lasted for about a length of a good episode.
Oh yeah, and you were so bummed out because and I could sense it because you wanted to record so much and it just fell apart.
Yeah, as B said, there were some challenging days which are I hope behind us. At least in my look, we were gonna do an episode, something like coffee versus tea, but in all honesty, coffee wins so much in that conversation. I don't think it's really necessary to go into it in the first place.
I won't comment on that because I want to keep my best material for that episode.
In any case, we haven't talked for a while. Anything new?
Yeah. Well, because if I manage to finish my next episode, which will be on St. John Chrysostom, I really like that guy. He was simply terrific. I don't know if you read his life.
Yep.
I don't mean the short version. Okay. You could make a really good movie out of it. Like a really good movie.
Maybe that's your next step with Bible Illustrated. Making full-fledged movies about like saints. That would be awesome. Like, this is what I wish for you. Here's a 10 years a reader wish. I wish for you to become like a movie producer, or whatever you have to be to be in a position to make a movie about a saint or whatever, a part of the Bible, Bible story or something like that.
And thank you so much, because as you know, my birthday was recently, and like 3 people wished me martyrdom, and these were friends.
Look. That sort of humor, it really, like, you're the center point. You generate that kind of humor. You inspire that kind of humor, and also when I think about you, like, that's why I invited you to that team building, which never happened. Yeah, by the way, right now as we're talking, we were supposed to be on a team building. Now, if you're asking yourselves what kind of a team are these guys in, besides this podcast, B was actually a part of my team at work, and I decided to invite him to one of our scheduled team buildings, but 2 of our guys got sick simultaneously, and we just canceled the whole thing.
Can I confess something?
You didn't want to go? Or you were going to skip?
No, neither of those. I wanted to go. I didn't want to skip, but I was like, oh, St. John, I really wish I could finish that video till tomorrow. And then you send me the news that St. John struck those 2 guys with pestilence.
Well, that's how you interpret it. I don't think I don't really feel that version of the story being what it is, but I do see how this is very convenient for you.
Well, yeah. Actually, I generally I only got the idea to do the Chrysostom video yesterday. If I had the idea earlier, it would have been much easier. But this way, I'm looking towards an all-nighter.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't have to be an all-nighter. I just want it to be finished until the end of the day tomorrow. But I hope to actually make it before I go to bed. And if I do, that means that I wrote the script, recorded the script, edited the video, sent the edited version to my audio editor for better editing, and drew the whole thing in a day. So it will be a personal record of mine.
That ain't happening.
Oh, you just need to sacrifice sleep.
Yeah, I know.
The world's
that's the thing. You being known as somebody who sleeps at work, who already had...
I only sleep at work because I don't sleep otherwise.
Yeah, but it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to the rest of the team there. It's not fair to whoever the client is, state. I don't know.
Well, it is the client's fault they weren't more interesting.
Okay. So, right, go get them attitude.
I mean, I didn't fall asleep during making of my videos, did I? Did they ever fall asleep during D&D sessions? Okay, I
Yes,
did.
yes, yes.
Those weren't
Yes.
particularly funny.
By the way, I had to think twice before I invited you because we were going to do board games. And I remember recently having you a part of our board game night.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah. You kind of messed things up completely. um,
You picked a boring game.
well, you never expressed any preferences or, a no-go, a list of no-go games or a list of, I don't know, just I am playing this kind of games. I don't know. You never said anything.
I thought that we would pick together.
You thought that we were going to pick together. Well,
of
we kind of did.
You told me
we kind of did. It was like the three of us. And of course, you were the last one there.
Okay.
We kind of already...
Okay, so enjoy the hell that you guys have wrought.
Terrible. You were the worst. Shame on you. Shame on you twice.
I know. But it was a good evening. Maybe not for you guys, but it was very fun for me.
Yeah.
For me, it delivered.
Yeah. So when I remember that you were gonna come, plus the other people who are probably not into any sort of competitive board gaming or anything, I started thinking about, Dixit and games like that, so that we can simply enjoy a creative night or something. But they all got sick. Right after after I am not sick for the first time in like 3 weeks.
Oh, actually, yeah. Congrats on not being sick 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked.
It's 3 days in a row.
Wow. How does it feel? How does it feel to experience a miracle?
Well, let's see. Let's do analysis, right? So I was supposed to go to Poland, right? It was
supposed to,
and it was an important trip. It was an important business trip. My company is in a program with a very big company. I'm not going to reveal any names, but probably with
I will.
It's the biggest company in the world, and you don't miss that kind of an event. It's very private, internal, super, exclusive, blah blah blah. You don't miss that shit. And 2 days before I was supposed to leave by plane, I get explosive diarrhea.
Okay, you did not say that out loud during the podcast.
Absolutely. Look, every time somebody says too much info, they would cover their eyes with their hands or something. I'm like, dude, it's a normal thing. People get that. Like, you don't.
Yeah, but you veil it somehow. You say I got a stomach bug or something. No. You don't say explosive diarrhea.
No. But if I say I got a stomach bug, you would think of me with stomach aches, holding my stomach with my hands, grunting in pain or something like that. But no, when I say explosive diarrhea, you know exactly.
Okay.
You know exactly what happened and how excruciating it was. Okay, right?
Well, without divulging too much detail, and I know that you would like to hear that. As of recent, I know how explosive diarrhea can be a problem, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So, if guys, if you never had explosive diarrhea, just thank God and move on.
Stop using those words.
But it happened 2 days before I was supposed to leave by plane, right? So.
And that plane crashed.
You can't talk about that. We already had this discussion. Yeah, I don't like planes. You don't like planes. Nobody likes planes. Of course, you're scared shitless when flying.
There are people who like planes.
People be strange. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people are just strange. If you like airplanes, you're probably strange. Well, from my perspective, because they're scary. Scary as hell. It's a big chunk of metal, and you're riding it like 10 kilometers up in the air. It's crazy. I'm not going into that, especially because I'm supposed to fly in like 7 days. So.
Me too. I'm going for Sweden, and I'm not looking forward to those flights.
But dude, Sweden
especially
is
because
where are you going? Which city?
In Sweden.
Where?
Sweden.
Which city? Which city?
Sweden.
Which one?
ABBA.
ABBA. Oh, starts with a U, right? UBBA.
No, just kidding. It's called Gävle.
Gävle, is that the southern part or the northern part? Southern, right?
I truly hope that none of my coworkers are listening to this, because I don't know, because I didn't check.
Oh God! Well, is it a 2-hour flight or more?
It is a 2-hour flight, but like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah. So that's in the southern part. It's probably near Göteborg.
Oh, and by the way, fun piece of trivia. The place that I'm going to was the most polluted place by Chernobyl outside of Soviet Union. Yay. Do you want a souvenir?
No, thank you.
It will glow.
So
forever.
So you're gonna ride a plane for like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm gonna be having 2 planes. One of them is gonna be like something like 1 hour and 45 minutes, but the other one is gonna be 11 something hours. So
11? Wait, where are you going? Oh yeah, right. By the way, guys, if you want to meet M in LA, M, give us your schedule.
Yeah, sure. So back to Chernobyl. No, but seriously, if somebody's from LA and wants to meet up, grab a cup of coffee, not tea. Just kidding. Sure, just hit us up with the with whatever means of contact you can get from our website, including but not limited to voicemail.
That we still haven't got.
Well, it is what it is. Not a big fan base, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Oh, by the way, imagine if we got an email from Jenna Marbles like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan, guys. I totally want to have coffee with you."
The only thing I can tell you about that is you are freaking obsessed with Jenna Marbles. You have mentioned Jenna Marbles in almost every episode we ever recorded, and I don't know why.
Yeah, but
she's a reference point to you. She's a reference point.
Because I think it is funny and random. And random is fun. Always, without fail.
I don't know, man. But that Jenna Marbles really, really messes up with your brain. I'm just kidding. You're really kind of obsessing.
Speaking of messing up your brain, let's talk about evil, ugly stuff.
Oh, yeah. The kind of drama this podcast needs.
Okay, well, this is the kind of drama that this podcast needs, and this is the kind of drama that the world does not need.
Yeah. What happened? Did
some
Codriano, did somebody resurrect Codriano or something?
I told you not to mention that name again ever. Okay, fine. Okay, let's not mention Jenna and Codriano again.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Deal. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay. So anyway, there is, and Lord grant that soon it will be, there is this brewery in Houston, Texas, US, Upper Hemisphere, and they hosted an actual black mass.
Yeah, so how
do you know what is
how does that work? I mean, what do you do? How does it look like?
During a black mass?
Yeah.
Black mass. Well, it is sort of a inversion of a Catholic mass, like you literally pray to the devil. Mm-hmm. But the big part of the right, and why is this so problematic as opposed to some random prayer to the devil, is because they desecrate a consecrated host. So in order for them to serve a real, so to speak, black mass, some of them would actually have to go to a Catholic church and steal communion and then desecrate it during the black mass. Mm-hmm. That's depraved. And
so
there is this group.
When they steal communion, if I'm not mistaken, in Roman Catholic Church, they only take the bread part. Sure. Let's not dwell in terminology, but yeah, the bread part. That's what they stole, right? Okay. Better than the whole. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so and they desecrate it during the ceremony. Yeah. Actually, I don't know what they do with it afterwards. I suppose that they take communion from the desecrated host. I really don't know, and in part I don't want to know. But we all have that dark part of our minds that really wants to know what's happening in those infernal places. And
not really. Man, I don't really care, but sure.
Yeah. But they had this comment on their page, that brewery. Oh man, it is that kind of extremely hypocritical, high moral ground. Like,
we did this because Christianity, wars, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
religion
sort of,
is
because
the disease of the modern world. Blah 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 blah.
But listen to this justification. Well, when you guys learn to be more tolerant of Muslims, of Buddhists, of trans people, of gay people, of black people, then maybe... And oh, man. When I hear such idiotic explanation and justification for their black right, I sort of hope that they do a Muslim version of Black Mass and see what.
Yeah.
But they know better.
Of course.
They're like that bully. They're like a bully who only beats smaller kids.
Of course.
Because of course.
No. Go do that and see how tolerant the Muslim community would be.
Oh yeah.
Like, look.
Oh man.
I think this time that we live in is a time of instant gratification, and what I'm trying to say is, you grab your phone and you don't even have to click, or you can talk to it, right? And you instantly get something. You can read something you want, you can watch something you want, you can buy stuff you want, and it all lasts for seconds. That being said, our appetites for content and situations, happenings, is constantly becoming bigger and bigger. This is why the internet works. This is why all internet-based businesses work, because this is nowadays how people's psychology works. That being said, people are constantly going very, very far to a galaxy far, far away with their, figuring out what they could do to satisfy this really endless appetite, huge, humongous, ever-growing appetite. I think when people like do a black mass or something, they're freaking bored. Like, I see look, first of all, we're going to ignore whatever reason they put on the website. Like, you Christians are not tolerant. Who gives, thank you for your insight. But that's not...
Thank you for your unsolicited advice.
No, really, thank you. Thank you for having a point of view and sharing it with the world. That's beautiful. That's diversity and blah blah blah. But the point is, somebody gets very, very bored and then finds 5 idiots who are also very, very bored, and they're like, "What can we do to make a statement while try something new?" I think this is how a lot of vice starts with people, People just want to try something new because they're freaking bored. Because really, in all honesty, even if you don't have to be like rich or anything. You're really that instant gratification thing. It's crazy bad, right? And you don't even have to be like rich or anything to be to have that problem, right? Of being constantly bored, of having a problem of stopping things and being alone with your thoughts. That problem awaits anybody with a smartphone. And it's people get bored and then they start figuring out, what can I do that's new, right? When they're tired of swiping left and right on Tinders and swiping up on Instagram, or swiping left and right on Flipboard, whatever kind of instant gratification application they're using, and constantly having ideas that something's going to happen. When somebody grabs the Tinder application, they swipe left and right. But I don't know what's what. But when you like somebody, I think you swipe to somewhere right. Let's say right.
Right.
Yeah, because this one's right for me. So they when they do this, they get some kind of instant gratification, and it's always false because it's just full scope, right? And the same goes when you're looking at somebody's Instagram profile, blah blah blah. So you're constantly looking at a bunch of lies, at a bunch of things that are unreal, and then people just flip, and they be like, "I want to do something real," and I'm super bored, so it has to be something new. It has to be something I'm going to feel. So, people
Actually,
pay for sex. People pay for ridiculous things, like really ridiculous things, like Black Mass. That's ridiculous. And really, they probably had to pay some money for it, because I'm guessing they had.
There were tickets.
It makes sense. It makes sense because
for Black Mass,
you have to like get those props or whatever, the clothes, right? You have to rent a room or something, right? Or you have to get somebody to offer their room for free. I don't know, but you have to spend there's some effort you need to go through to get there, right? But then when they did it, they probably thought, this was new and this was real, and we're no longer bored. Now let's go make a crappy statement about how Christianity sucks, while Buddhists and Muslims are super awesome.
But the irony there is that they probably dislike or hate all religion, but because they especially hate Christianity, we will be the great defenders of Muslims and Buddhists,
and gays and trans people and whatever. Anybody, a Christian could potentially ever judge or whatever.
Yeah, but you bring up an interesting point. Okay, let me put it this way. I can serve a liturgy or mass in my room, and it could be as grace-filled and as beautiful as it being served in the most majestic of temples. Of course, the temple helps a lot. But, having it in my room or in my apartment or in your apartment would bring that close, intimate atmosphere that only emphasizes the service. However, if you do a Black Mass in your room, you're just a stupid, edgy person who, what are you even doing? So for a Black Mass to be efficient at all, it has to be in a venue that gives it some sort of solemnity. It has to be in a spacious room, because if you do it on your table, it's
I don't know.
Very
you seem
silly.
to be the expert on the topic, so I mean,
God forbid.
Who even cares about what you need for a Black Mass? Like, who even cares? Like.
Bored people who serve Black Masses.
But did they Google for Black Mass expert who can answer our questions on how to do this? I don't know. To me, it's fun. It's fun how ridiculous it is, But in all honesty, I really don't care. Not even about, what that entails, how they did it. Like, I don't care. Like, really.
No. I don't care about the rubrics that much. And even if I do, that is a sort of reflection of my curiosity about the rubrics in general.
Mm-hmm.
But the very fact that you have these grown-up people who are edgy, like 14-year-olds, is a concern.
No.
And of course,
that line has been moved since forever. Grown-ups are no longer grown-ups. You know that. You know that. Like people nowadays are seriously mature. And if you ask yourself why, again, it's that instant gratification thing. Let me explain. Let me try to explain why. Right?
Feel free.
So, the generations of our parents or grandparents, yours or mine, dude, they had to work since early childhood. Sometimes the work was physical. A lot of times the work was physical. But the point is, you and I, we grew up playing. They grew up working.
Yep.
Our generation grew up playing. I'm a father, right? And I read about parenting. I read about children. And like, dude, it's so ridiculous. Like, an average child psychologist, like, I want to throw a brick at them. It's ridiculous. The things these people write about and the laws that people create for, treating relations between parents and children, it's ridiculous, right? Because at the end of the day, it seems like you're supposed to be a slave to your kid and basically make sure that at every moment in their lives, you're there to make sure they're not bored. First of all, my wife and I, we completely took away both the TV and the tablet from the kid, the older kid. If you ask me why, because she's super aggressive when she's using the tablet or watching TV. She's super aggressive, and I just wanted to make a test. And we knew that it was going to be tough. She's going to ask for it for days, and she's going to be annoying, and she was. But again, super cute. Because, little girls, come on, really. But now that she's used to it, she plays with toys. And she's not aggressive at all. Like, the thing is, you can't really, like, with a small child, like she's almost 3, you can't really make an arrangement with them that easily, right? I'm going to be like, here, you take the tablet, play with it for like 15 minutes, half an hour, and I'm gonna go do something, and then when I'm back, I'm gonna take it from you, and you're gonna go to sleep. Is that okay? Yeah, sure, no problem. But then when the time comes, there's gonna be like, oh my God, there's gonna be
a wrestling match.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. The aggressiveness, it's crazy, and I could not be happier by that choice to simply take it all away. Now, I'm not a sadist or anything, right? Like taking away cartoons from the kid. But my point is, if she's gonna be watching TV, like watching cartoons and stuff, it's gonna be with us. It's gonna be we're gonna share that moment so that we can first of all enjoy the time together. Make sure we know exactly what she's watching, because we are responsible for it at the end of the day. And also, finally, we get to pick. We get to pick what she's going to watch. We get to enjoy it with her. We get to monitor how she is receiving. We get to talk to her, about the content that she's.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different situation. A very good friend of mine, I was at a friend's place, and she told me about her niece who got married recently. I was actually singing on her wedding, in the choir. It's like one of the rare occasions because it's somebody's, family. And she told me, like, well, 20 years ago when she was a kid, like a 10-year-old kid, I remember her being with a couple of friends at my house. And there were like 5 of them, 10-year-old girls, just lying around, wasting time. And at one point she asked her, and Auntie, come on, give us something to do, give us something to play with.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're 10 years old, get out and find something to play with. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, isn't like a kid's imagination supposed to like run wild? Like, go run wild. The thing is, that was 20 years ago. Okay, that was 20 years ago. You can imagine with technology and progress in general how that looks like today. And I see this with kids and parents all the time. Parents run after children, and they're hacking their lives so that the kid has something to do every second of their lives. That's not what parenting is. Come on, damn it. That's not what parenting is. Parenting is something completely different. But the thing is, right, back to the point, our parents, they had to work.
Yeah.
So, they were drinking maturity from a huge bottle. We have been, spoon-fed with maturity now and then. And it was always, the lessons were very tough for us. Just like when I give my kid that tablet, she plays with the tablet, and then I have to take it away from her. That's a very painful lesson for her. That's a lesson that not everything's gonna work out exactly how she wants it, right? But it's such a painful lesson. While our parents had to work, sometimes had to work for food, sometimes had to work for nice words coming out of their parents' mouth. Something had to work to get some free time with their parents. Like anybody whoever reads knows what I'm talking about. And that being said, they simply grew mature much, much faster than we had. And next generations are 10, 15, 100, a million times worse. Because...
Well, think about it. You mentioned reading. Reading by itself trains your imagination.
Absolutely.
For example, have you read Song of Ice and Fire books? Have you read them before they made the show?
Well, not all of them, because some of them,
No. Okay, but when you saw the actors who were to portray those characters, were you like, oh man, they nailed this character, they didn't nail this character so much?
Of course not, because first of all, it's a very specific example. When they did casting for the show, they definitely did not follow the descriptions from the book. Otherwise, and you can even search for videos where people photoshopped the actors to make them look more like they're described in the books.
I would assume that the imp gets the most change.
It's the most visible change, because Peter Dinklage is a pretty normal looking guy.
And not only normal, but very charismatic. And despite his disability, he's very good looking.
Ridiculously charismatic. I'm going to agree with
that. But here's what I'm trying to say. All of those descriptions that you read, you maybe read them, but they sort of get embedded into the back of your brain. And when you see these characters, you're like, he or she doesn't look or really looks like the person, because the book makes you imagine things. And listen, I'm not the person who will be like, oh, we did as kids, we read. Not all people. I myself, as a kid, I read a lot.
Me
But
too.
I also
Me too.
some other kids never picked up a book, but they ran. They ran
Absolutely.
outside. And I think that video games in moderation are okay. Video game cartoons, again, in moderation, are okay. But when you entertain your kid all the time with endless stream of most probably cartoons, you're basically teaching them. You're cutting a couple of really important ways for them to practice imagination. And boredom is one of the best ways for them to learn
Absolutely.
imagination, because they will get creative in trying ways to entertain themselves. They'll try to draw. They will play, make believe. They will do all sorts of things to entertain themselves, and I think that is one of the most important things that are lost when you give them a tablet or a device, because there the fun is endless and in most cases of a very low quality.
Yeah, exactly. You absolutely nailed it. And coming from this test, a very successful test, I can tell you that I've seen exactly that, right? So no tablet, no TV. She will go through all toys she has, and she has a lot of toys. She will play make-believe something with every single one of them.
Yeah.
She will engage us and try to get us to participate. Do you think she would ever call us to watch something on the tablet with her, or to play a game? Like, no.
Why would she?
I put the drawing table again for her in the living room, and she's constantly drawing. Like, I thought she was like absolutely zero drawing talent, but she does draw something, and she will, again, from time to time be like, "Can I watch TV? Can I get the tell?" But man, it's there's no aggression, and it's I'm not saying it's completely gone, because she's a kid, and when a kid doesn't get what the kid wants, they're gonna throw a tantrum. Like, that's how things work, especially if she has a temper. And being my kid, she definitely has a temper.
That's a walking hissy fit.
You know what the thing is? I never knew how hard I am on people with my temper before I got the kid. Really, I could never imagine.
Oh, wow.
I could never have imagined how how tough I am for people to digest sometimes. I don't know. It's I guess everybody has their challenge in life. That one thing that you have to beat by all costs, and God only knows if you're going to be able to do it before your short time on earth is done. But yeah, we kind of went multiple directions here, but it all boils down to the fact that people are really bored, and they will do crazy stuff. Doing a black mass, unless you're a dedicated devil worshiper. But I've never really ever met or have seen content from somebody who I could describe as a genuine devil worshiper. Like, people are going to be crazy. People will make up all kinds of crazy stuff. But really, what's there to worship? It's a fad. It's a fad and nothing else. So that being said, I'm going to worship the devil in spite of Christianity. That's ridiculous.
That is one of the most idiotic approaches to anything.
Ridiculous.
I will be not the thing that I hate. What? No, that's just overall bad.
Yeah.
Whatever that
Like if you hate
is.
Christians, go make fun of them. Find an interesting Christian group and make fun of them. You can always do that. People have
Okay, or simply do gardening, make houses of cards, create something beautiful, do pottery, organize an animal shelter. And that's the irony. This group who organized this does some nice things for the community. Focus on that. No need for all the. I want to say dark imagery, but I don't mind dark imagery. I like dark imagery, but this is not just dark imagery. So don't be so negative. Do positive stuff. Focus more on the positive.
maybe from their point of view, that's the positive thing for community, because they were like, we showed those Christians who are not tolerant towards diverse groups that they suck by stealing their stealing from their church, and then pouring sheep blood over it or whatever. I'm not gonna ask for details because I don't really care. But I
think you pretty much covered it.
I can only imagine like somebody like an idiot taking blood and sprinkle it like. Oh,
what are you doing?
I
go and iron the curtains or something.
Yeah, like
vacuum your room.
I don't know if somebody told me that like they were gonna do that. I'd be like, really? Is there nothing? I mean, nothing else. Can you get those people in that room and just listen to some music? Like. Listen to some AC/DC or something like Highway to Hell or something, and like be amused. But I don't know.
If I heard some of my friends did something like that, they would get the mother of all rolling eyes I've ever put on for somebody. Like.
I don't know. It's very childish. At the end of the day, I kind of enjoyed, thinking about why somebody would do that. Constantly going back to how crazy the world is today, and really we are a part of it. We are a part of the problem. And God only knows if we're a part of the solution. Maybe some of us. Maybe some of us. Maybe you, for example, when you make videos that talk about Orthodox Christianity, maybe that's a small, very small part of the solution. So be grateful to God that you have the opportunity. That's my 2 cents.
No. I am grateful, but I think that literally everyone who tries to do good and not try to do evil is doing a big part in being a small part of the big solution.
Being the salt. Being the salt. Being the salt of the world.
Mean, the salt of the earth. Like, you don't have to have a YouTube channel or a lot of money or whatever to make a big difference,
yeah, what? And I've been this has been in my thoughts for a while. As I've listened to it through countless sermons, read about it through countless books, especially about saints. How the best thing you could do, one of the best things that you can do, is charity. But charity in a broad sense, not just take money and give it to somebody. That's not charity. That's easy. But charity in the sense of being there for somebody, spending your time on somebody else, and especially when you really, really don't get anything out of it, and especially when it's super inconvenient for you to put yourself out there for somebody. And I've been trying to find examples of that in my life, hoping that I'll have at least something in my bag of virtues or whatever you call it. When the time comes, that will hopefully more or less beat whatever ridiculous sinfulness exists in me. And that I've been thinking about that a lot. And now, not that you've said it, you don't have to have a YouTube channel. Like, all you have to do is just be there for someone. That's wow. You know what that is? That's higher than prayer. That's more powerful.
That is basically the only thing that matters.
That's the true nature, like the true personification of love. It's really love taking real form. In my opinion, that's exactly what it is. Like love as when an abstract thing usually, but it takes shape.
When you said what can you do and so on, and charity in the broad sense, something that I am trying to do, and that is spending more time with people who I don't find particularly interesting, but who love spending time with me. This sounds maybe vain, but it's not, because we all have such people who like us a lot, but we don't. I don't want to say that we don't love them. We maybe love them, but we're not huge fans of their company for whatever reason. However, if you spend time with such people, because they tend to be lonely, in a way, you are being you're truly being there for them, but you don't get anything in return. For example, I love hanging out with you, but I get out of that the fun of hanging out with you, But if you weren't that interesting, then my true love shows, for that person.
Well, first of all, don't beat yourself up, because being selfish, and when you think about it that way, it's kind of selfish. I'm gonna spend time only with people that bring me joy or money.
Especially money.
But really, I first of all, you said we all have these kind of people, but I'll just correct you at that. First of all, some much more than others, okay, and some really probably none. But you fit into that first category because you make content that reaches out to and that reaches people, that engages a lot of people. And I mean, investing your time into talking to everybody, responding to everybody, I think that's also in a way exactly what I was talking about, especially when you see somebody in need, and especially when you see an opportunity, a chance for you to fill that gap or take that place of and then fulfilling those needs. I think that's great, and every time you feel bad about it, come back to this conversation. Because really, it's. I hope you remember it, actually, because you've read a lot about saints. You know how they constantly emphasize, that you need to do a lot of charity. You know the story about the two people, the rich guy and the poor guy, whose wounds whose wounds were being licked by stray dogs. You know, when they got to when they died, passed away, and one of them went to heaven and the other one went to hell, basically. You know, the one who went to hell, he never, you know, he basically never did any charity. You know, and you know, even you know, that he, you know, when he requested, like just can I have that other guy just put his finger, you know, just a little bit, tiny bit of whatever he's got, right? And how roles were reversed. Imagine if he, in his wealth, did charitable things. And I'm not talking about investing into a church, synagogue at that time or whatever, right? Okay? I'm talking about giving his time, the most precious thing you can give to somebody, for their own sake, completely not thinking about himself. Do you think he would be in that kind of position in the story?
No.
I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or blah, blah. You have thousands of followers on this or that social media, blah, blah. But it doesn't really matter. Because it doesn't make you who you are. Not really. So.
Do you know who was really big into charity?
John Chrysostom.
Chrysostom. Yeah. And, you know, he was famous for his interpretation of the Bible. And you know the story about the rich young man who comes to Christ and he says, oh, I fast, I pray, and so on. I fulfill the entire law. And Christ says, well, okay, fine, go sell everything you have and follow me. And he goes, and the poor rich young man simply turns his head and leaves, sad. And the commentary of St. John, he said, well, if he did fulfill the entire law, he wouldn't be rich. Oh man, I don't know how much you have read of St. John, but you know, read something, anything of him, like anything that the man has touched has turned to gold. And there's a very specific reason why we call him the Golden Mouth. I like to call this type of people, and for example, Chesterton is one of them. It is one of those people with whose brains I can fall in love. Like, they have such amazing minds and hearts that I'm simply speechless. They're simply a joy to read, and if you apply 1/10 of what they said, you're in a good spot.
You know, I mean, of course, I've read a lot about him, right? You can't really be a part of the Orthodox Church and not stumble upon a lot of things about him, right? I opened up this article. It's completely in Serbian. I'm going to send it to you. Because it's a great article because it links a lot of different great articles, and the ending part of it about John Chrysostom, and I love the fact that this kind of leans onto the conversation that we just had, especially actually today, because it's after midnight, being your 10th year anniversary, and the day of John Chrysostom. It says. I'm translating this from Serbian, so pardon if I stumble. So, but none other of the church fathers has surpassed John the Chrysostom in his touchy and constant calls for charity and good deeds.
Yeah,
and that's so many of the church fathers have been reiterating and emphasizing charity and good deeds. At the end of the day, it's not the good deeds, that will it's it's not a game. Even though I remember words from Saint Nikolai Vladimirovich, who's like, create that sort of capital, in good deeds and charity.
Yeah.
But
he was a poet. He was a poet. That is what a poet.
Yes, and he used those specific words because those were the beginning days of capitalism. It was a very fitting thing to say. So there, of course, there's context, but it's not really that. It's the love of God, and Precisely. By every single good deed or whatever you do, you are making steps towards Him, right? It's you who is making the step. For every 1/4 of a step you make, He makes 1,000,000. And especially when you do it in His name. And this is not me talking. This is literally the Bible. Anybody who gives water to a thirsty man in my name, right? My English version of the Bible, God only knows of interpreting.
Everybody will know.
But really, if you give clothes to somebody, in my name. But anyways, I'm taking it too far. I'm sorry. I just wanted to share my thoughts, and that's all. Don't listen to me. Listen to the Bible. That's enough. More than enough.
Yeah.
Or listen to B. He's doing it pretty well. Sometimes his humor is not easily digestible, but
or at all.
Well, I didn't want to. Well, maybe I should have. I mean, I did say explosive diarrhea, so I could say anything, right? It wouldn't be worse than explosive diarrhea.
And you killed it. You killed it.
But yeah, B, thank you for your time.
And thank you for yours.
We are gonna try to record with the initial frequency, which is once per week. But really life has been so challenging lately, and especially now we're going to be in 2 different time zones. I don't know, maybe we can continue. I can do it in the morning hours, and you can do it in the evening, just as they're doing right now. It actually might work, especially because you don't sleep.
Leechdom was never more tempting.
Yeah, but still, you have to do a black mass to consecrate your phylactery.
Oh, actually, yeah. That would be awkward.
and we just spent so much time, laughing, to these guys. Too much.
Well, we thank them for the comment.
Too much Dungeons and Dragons
and
really.
Sketch.
But really, I miss playing D&D. So we're gonna have to dedicate an episode to fantasy role play. I miss it so much, man.
Yeah,
do you still play?
No. Because of the Bible Illustrated, there's literally no chance in hell for me to play at the moment. Because it takes your entire afternoon once a week, and I already have German classes, I have painting classes, I have Bible Illustrated, and I have yet to
classes.
No, painting class, but baking classes. That's something that sounds like my next big project. Bible.
By the way, sorry for prolonging the end of this episode, but why on earth are you learning German? I might have asked you this before. But
Okay. Long
Yes,
story
please.
short. I have an uncle and he's a lawyer. And initial idea was for me, once I finished the faculty, that I would go to his law firm and be a lawyer there. And that law firm had a large German clientele. However, nothing came out of that plan, and I started working for a government agency. However, that agency, we did a lot of translation, and knowledge of German was useful, so I kept learning German. Then I started to devote my time to Bible Illustrated, and I realized that the German at the moment would be practically useless. But I really enjoyed going to classes at Sonia's. She appears in my video jurisdiction impersonations too. I really like going to her classes, so that simply stayed. But I don't plan to continue studying beyond B2 level. There you have
So you're basically learning German for the heck of it.
Yeah. For the heck
But do you read in German? Like does it bring it bring any kind of advantage?
Knowing German?
Yeah.
Well, it can hurt, right? If they occupy us again, I'll survive because I know German.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say something completely politically incorrect, but
you can tell me after
exactly. No, really.
Oh, and we can pretend like we thought that the microphone was off, and then enjoy the bad exposure, because there is no such thing as bad exposure.
Well, sorry, drama fans, but
the black mass is all you're getting today.
Exactly. By the way, I hope you will provide a link to whatever ridiculous place you read news about this, so that people can read about it and have their own laughs.
You can read it on livesite.com. There you have it.
I've never visited that in my life, so I don't really know. But do share a link in the episode description, which I hereby.
I will.
What's the word? Not ordained, but
Tantra.
We're trying out tantra. You to officially tantra you to do. Right after you're done figuring out what the title of the episode is gonna be.
I already did.
Cool. That being said, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the quote-unquote short, path towards explaining to me why you're wasting your time in a language you will never use. Seriously, you should switch to Russian.
No.
I totally knew you.
Ain't no for that.
Totally knew you were going to say that.
No, nothing personally ideologically against Russian, just, oh man. Slavic languages only for those who know that they're lived to a century.
You're wrong. It's super easy.
Right.
Yeah, just like French.
We'll see.
Yeah. Have a good one, B. Thank you for thank you for recording this short episode with me.
I'm so sleepy right now.
And good luck finishing that video on John Chrysostom.
I sit there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'll go sleep now and you go work.
And I'll go to heaven and you'll go to episode ended.
By the way, guys, share, like, subscribe thing. But really, we mentioned that voicemail thing. So if you want to say something for our next episode, maybe ask us a question or something, we will be more than happy to get you to be a part of the next or whatever episode. So, see if it makes sense. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.